Alright, here we go. It's doing it again. It's doing that thing again. Let's see if I can get it to... Nope. Nope. If I do this, maybe? Nope. Okay. So, today I just saw a thread in the IFC about the Airbus A320 not being able to land properly. So, what I'm going to do here, first thing I'm going to do is put Do Not Disturb and lock that. First thing I'm going to do here is find a YouTube channel, and I'm going to share this to the IFC thread. Let's see what we got. My channel. There we go. Share this real quick. Hopefully it can be embedded. I don't know. Anyways. Alright, so let's go take a look at Vapp. So I'm going to pick a weight here. I'm going to say we're going to land at 140,000 pounds. So our VREF, or touchdown speed, is going to be 134. Okay, let's pop into infinite flight here. What I'm
ready when you are, Captain.
Is first I got to put my headphones on the right. There we go. Sorry if you couldn't hear me prior to this. I just got the headphones in. So we're going to look for, let me find some place where there's not too terribly much wind. 140 at 14. It's a pretty good cross right there. So what I'd like to do is I'm just going to pop into a gate and set the wind conditions. And then what I'm going to do is set up a full approach in solo mode. It's a 146 at 14. Beautiful. So I'm going to set up, there's got to be another airport around here somewhere I can set up. I'll set up at Lantana in solo mode, mind you, with the wind the way it is. Okay. I'm going to set up for approach here, climb to, say, 3,000 or 4,000 feet, and we'll go from there. First thing I'm going to do is calculate the wind component. So, speaking of wind, it's very windy here in Boston right now. So, runway heading is going to be, I believe it's 0.9. Wind 146 at 14. So we get a 10 knot headwind and a 10 knot crosswind as we land here. So, for 140,000 pounds weight, which I'm going to fly this now. Okay. Go around flaps 2.
Flaps 2.
Oh, that would help, wouldn't it? Get some sound. Why do I not have sound? This is weird.
Gear up.
What is going on? Audio. Okay. I don't know what happened there. Sorry, we're going to have to start this over. Let's see if I get sound here.
Flight attendants, take your
on
seats
runway
for takeoff.
33. Flaps.
I might have to close out of this. No, I don't want to stop the broadcast. Cancel. Okay, let's close this. Start infinite flight. Let's see what we can get here. My apologies for this. Let's see. Do we get sound now? Yep, okay. So I'm going to pause that, and I'm going to bring up in-flight assistant.
Ready when you are, Captain.
There we go. Okay, go around flaps.
Flaps 2.
Pitching up to 18 degrees. And go around 1,500 feet. Gears coming. Positive speed. speed trend, we're looking for 3,000. Okay. So just going to kind of enter a right downwind for runway 10 left. F speed,
Flaps
flaps
1.
up, or flaps 1. So yeah, I'm at I'll be at 140,000. Look at that, perfect. I'll be at 140,000 pounds. I'll put the touches on. I'll be at 140,000 pounds by the time we land. Flaps 0 degrees. Flaps 0 degrees.
Flaps up.
Just gonna lock in. Lock in the heading for now. I'll set up the 250. Palm Beach should be out there on the right. And I'm going to punch in the auto thrust here at 250. Boom. All right. Let me just grab the approach. Go direct to Elmore. Let's get the nav, GPS. Arc, GPS, it's arc. Okay, we'll go right base, Wilbur, Zizer, paste, 10 left, Palm Beach. Boom. Okay. All right. So I just got to check my charts really quickly. And let's go direct Elmore again. Now that we're on a straight line. All right. Let's stop for a second. So 1/3 of 10, right? So 10 divided by 3 is 3.33. So we'll just say 3 knots, okay? So for our V app, right, we're going to want to go 134 plus 5 plus 3, right? So I'm going to do the calculator real quick. 134 plus 5 is 139 plus 3 is 142. So our V app is going to be 142, and we're going to want to touch down at 133. Okay. Now, I need to see what our F and S speeds are for 140,000 pounds. And green dot as well. So at 140,000 pounds, we're 207 and 194. So below 207 knots, we will go to below 207, we'll say flaps 1. Below 194, we'll say flaps 2. And then we'll maintain about 170 knots till the final approach fix, which is Zizer. And I can go ahead, I can punch these into in-flight assistant, actually. So we'll go 210 to Elmore. I'll hold off on that. We'll go 190 to Wilbur. Yeah, 190 to Wilbur. Right? We can actually go flaps 1 prior to Wilbur. That's doable. But this is mainly about flying V app. What do I want to be here? Wilbur is 3,000, Zizer's 2,000. So we're going to simulate a descent clearance to cross Zizer at 2,000. And we'll go ahead and set the runway. And 10 left, set nav. What's the course again? Did I miss anything? 99, so I was correct. All right, JetBlue 2553, descend and maintain 2,000. 2,000. Speed 210. Right? So we're going to go 170 to Zizer, and then we're going to go 142 the rest of the way in. And we'll disconnect auto thrust at minimums. Now watch the trim here. as we level out at 2,000, it's going to take more trim at 210 knots. You see the magenta starting to go there, so I'm going to try to start catching up with that. Nice and gentle. Right? Proper VAP is critical. Right? Now watch this. It's going to come up now. Right? I might lose... I'm at 209. I only lost 1 knot there. So we're going to go ahead and hit flaps 1.
Flaps
now watch
1.
this. It's going to go right out. Even pushing us over a little bit. Alright, so it's adjusting power for pitch, trim. Let's get it on and get her level. And then it's going to slow to 190. Remember, we need the second setting of flaps after 190, below 194. Alright, so leveling out at approach altitude. Going to clear us for the approach now. Okay, looking for 194. Flaps 2.
Flaps 2.
So right there we lost 3 knots. So we're turning inbound to Wilbur here. No approach mode, mind you. Just gonna go ahead and give it a redirect. And let's see what happens here. Just gonna take a 45-degree angle. I probably should have extended it out a little bit for a shallower intercept, but Zeiser is the important thing. That's when we're gonna start descending. This one out a little bit. The big configuration change is going to come when we get to Wilbur. We're going to need a lot more trim to hold the 170 knots. And it's going to be a tight turn with the wind pushing us to the right. So, activate Zeiser. Get that turn going now. Go to 170. Here's the trim coming. See the trim coming? And you can always punch the auto thrust if you think it's not going to catch up in time. Just punch it. Alright, so we're going to maintain 170 to Zeiser. Glide slope should come alive just prior to Zeiser. I'm going to neutralize out the trim here. That's very important to do. And that crosswind's got us setting up a little bit to the right here. Excuse me. Right? In the end, when we're at VAP, we're going to want to be at 2.5 degrees as we go down the glide slope. Right? To maintain the glide slope. Ground speed's about 171. Airbus has a pretty cool function. It's called Ground Speed Mini. It'll make sure that you keep going over the ground at a safe enough margin. Alright, getting lined up here now. Now notice I haven't touched the APPR button. Okay, Loke's alive. I'm going to go ahead and recalibrate just so I'm holding it comfortably here. One more time. There we go. Waiting for that glide slope to come alive. It's 2,000 feet at Zeiser. So that's when we'll get into the landing configuration. We'll start down a little bit before that. as I see some movement. There it is. Past the first dot. And we'll go ahead and start down. Nice and slow. Now remember, when we get to Zizer, it's going to drop to Vapp, which we said is 142 for the current weight and current conditions. Okay, here we go. Gear down. Gear down.
Gear down.
Flaps 3.
Flaps 3.
Flaps full. Flaps full.
full.
Little burble as we configured there. Okay, now I'm taking the altitude back. And I'm going to take full manual control here, other than the thrust. Right, and there we are. Just a little bit below the glide slope. I'm going to adjust to the right a little bit here. Right? See, we're pretty much bang on 2.5 degrees. Just going to catch that glide slope. I didn't have to do too much trimming out. Can just let it comfortably settle in to the descent on the glide slope, just the way I'm holding it. A little bit of extra trim. Usually find 26 to 30 works. That's a little bit fast for the ground speed. Remember, we got a 10 knot crosswind, so we'll have to kick out the crab at the very end. But see that? We're holding pretty much bang on, a little bit low. Right on glide. Got a good crab angle.
1,000.
Stable. Landing memo, no blue. Knocking off a little trim there to stay on glide. I can see from the runway that I'm getting a little bit higher than I want to be. But I don't want to get too low now.
Approaching 10 left.
So a little bit of trim here, a little bit of that, but we're bang on the money. Why does that look like white?
500.
Stable at 5. Getting a little bit low, too much
400.
sink. Why does that look white instead of red? It should be red now.
300. Approaching minimums.
Okay.
200. Minimums.
Just gonna hold it right there. A little bit too much sink. I'm aiming for the
100.
bricks.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Retard.
10.
Landing spoilers extended.
Manual braking. Got off center line there. All right, that's how you do that. So let's try a different weight range and see. Go ahead and replay this landing back really quick. This is a good way, also practicing in solo with different winds. It's a great way to get good at what you do. Excuse me. All right, so see that? Let's look here. We're 2.5 degrees up, nose up, right? We're stable. Coming down, we configure at 2,000, right? So you configure your gear, spoilers, arm the spoilers, drop your successive sets of flaps. But let's look. Okay, so we're crabbed out here. I don't know what was going on. It said we were high. Coming down. Powering down. Kicking out. Beautiful landing, right? You want about 5 degrees? It's 5.3. So not bad at all. So let's try a different weight, and I'll show you the difference in weight. 142 for this wind, right? So let's set up on final at Palm Beach, right? Let's go up here, 10 left, final. So we'll already be configured for landing, right? So I'm going to set the weight up a little bit differently this time and just illustrate why you need a different speed for a different weight. Okay, so let's see, what do we want to do? Do we want to go heavy? We can only go about 5,000 pounds more. That's max landing weight. Let's take a look back at the V speeds. So for 146,000 pounds, it's 137, right? So it would be 137 plus 8, so we'd be 145, okay? So I actually want to go lower to show you where the pitch would be. So I'm going to go down to, let's go down to 130. So we got 129 knots, okay? I'm going to drop out some passengers, drop out some luggage, all right? And we'll go like right there. Okay, so 129 plus 8, right? We've got 5 automatic knots added. So that's 134 plus 3. So we're looking at 137. So let's start with 142. And you're going to see that the nose is going to be closer to the horizon, closer to level as we get on the glide slope, okay? So calibrate. In we go. Find our speed. Okay, now watch what happens when I try to maintain glide slope. At 2.5 degrees. See that? That's not enough. We're going to go high. Right? So let's slow it down to 134. 29 plus 5. 137. Right? Let's get back on the glide slope. Got to drop this down a little bit. Okay.
1,000.
Okay, stable target. Sink 7, sink 6. Right? Remember, the slower you go, the less vertical speed you'll have. Do I have the right runway tuned? I do.
Approaching 10 left.
And look at that. We're pretty much bang on 2 degrees, 2.5 degrees. Might have a little bit too much crab angle in, but that's okay. Can always
500.
decrab a little bit harder. 500, we're stable.
400.
This ILS looks funny. Am I seeing red there? I am, okay. It just looks white because of the ground. All right, get that nose back up. We're going low.
300.
Going low.
Approaching minimums. 200.
Okay, minimums.
Minimums.
Gonna leave the thrust there. I'm aiming on the runway now for the bricks.
100.
Too low, too
50,
much.
40.
30.
20.
Retard.
10.
A crab.
Landing spoilers extended.
So I got a little bit high up there trying to level the wings and flare at the same time. So let's take a look at that one. So here's the autopilot disconnection. And I was a little bit low. I should have been 50 feet here. Theoretically speaking, I should have been 50 feet just as my just as the numbers or the piano keys here, right? Just as they come over the nose, you should be 50, right? So let's see. Power's coming. We're crabbing out. On target. Hold that center line, right? Just going to back up and show the D-crab. And a good landing again. So calculating your VAP, again, it's the VREF for the weight of your plane, readily available charts. If you want those, feel free to ask. We'll get, we can send them to you via the IFC. So it's VREF for the weight of your plane, plus 5, plus 1/3 of your headwind component, right? And if you got no wind, it's VREF plus 5. And the idea is when you flare, you're bleeding off that 5 knots and the wind additive. So I hope this helps show how the A320 is one of the better planes in infinite flight. Actually, there's a lot of good ones. The thread I saw, I think, use an approach. It can be very, very tricky. Can yank you up when you're least expecting it. That can cause you to lose speed on approach when it catches the glide slope. For some reason, it just yanks you right up instead of descending on down. Haven't figured that one out yet. But they've improved it each time. I would only really use approach in the appropriate conditions if you can't see out the window. So there's that. Hope this stream has helped to show what VAP is. And if you want more info, come on over to Virtual Blue and we'll teach you everything we know. Have a great day.